Go tech. Hey everyone. Look, I'm like, what are we talking about? We recording? Hey guys. Hey, it is your girl, as always, Raquel May David. I am in the place to be, and I have my amazing co-host, David Sanchez, that is with me. And of course, you know our one and only mod is JM. So if you have questions, concerns, comments, you just wanna coulda rug. We wanted to kind of open the room just a little bit earlier. Corey, you got a question? Come off mute. What you got for me?
Yeah, how you doing?
Good. How are you?
All right, I'm fine. Well, the first question, I just text support and they sent I sent the message to support. So I guess they gave me an answer. I had opened up because I think I'm about to start my second round of tax on Friday, but it was telling me that my documents, something was wrong with my documents, and I told them it was the same documents. So they just told me to upload a new report. And then number two is I had got a letter from Equifax saying that they verified an account. Now I know that I could use the static letters for that, and I was just trying to go into my account and just see, but they told me how to do that too. And then the third thing is I wanted to ask was I haven't heard anything back from Experian. Like I said, all my credit reports, things are updating. Experian, I haven't heard anything from them. Like I haven't got anything in the mail. I ain't see nothing. So I guess I would just send a static letter for that too when I send my second round of attacks.
So my follow-up question, so hold on, I want to answer all these questions. I'm going to do a little bit scattered. So first question for the last question that you have is, have you checked your email to see if Experian has responded to you via email?
They shouldn't have my email. I sent everything certified mail.
Okay. So you're saying that they should not have your email at all?
No, I don't think so.
Because if you have been in their database at any time and they have your email, sometimes they do respond back to your email. So before I tell you to send a static letter, my suggestion would be to check your email to see if maybe they have replied to an email if you've used it before in any of their databases. Does that make sense? Okay.
Now, I'm sorry, like with them, I use all the credit monitoring bureaus to just kind of get a gauge on what's going on. Mm-hmm. So like I said, I use Credit Karma. That's how I was seeing how much was happening with Equifax, because I kept getting the updates and seeing updates. So it was a lot going on with Equifax. I got Equifax. So I just logged into them and I see that my score jumped. I got Experian. I've seen a little bit of movement in Experian, but not too much. But like I said, as far as, updates on my credit report, I wasn't seeing too much, like as far as this been removed or this has been updated and things like that. I use Wallet Hub. Like I said, they just give me alerts from TransUnion and Equifax. And like I said, with TransUnion, they sent me the stall letter, but I already know what to do for that.
Mm-hmm. So if you're concerned, so I want to answer this question in two parts. If your concern is you're not seeing movement, then that would be my concern to send a stall letter. But if you are seeing movement, then there's not a necessity for a stall letter, in my opinion. If you are seeing movement, even if you're not getting stuff in the mail, I would say to start with your email first. And then if you're not, you are more than welcome to go ahead and send a stall letter with your next round. But if there's activity being done, name change, address change, accounts being removed, or something changing, then I don't necessarily see the point of sending a stall letter, because you're not being stalled. They're just not responding. They're changing, but they're just not responding. So I want to be clear that a stall letter means there's no change, no response, nothing at all. Like they're just, and sometimes you're getting the stall, right? But when you get, like, the stall would be in essence the letter that you got from TransUnion that we talked about. That was like, hey, you need to verify, blah, blah, blah. That's a true stall. So if something is happening, but they're not necessarily responding to you, my suggestion would be to check the email addresses that you have, because they may be responding to you with the method of communication that they already have on file, because they are very good at doing the email versus the mail. I've seen that in the past.
Okay, now with TransUnion, I actually got that stall letter. So that
Correct.
same letter. So I'm ready. I already got that. I know what to do for that.
Gotcha.
But like I said, I'm looking at my Equifax right now, and no, not my Equifax, but my
Your
TransUnion.
experience.
My experience. Sorry about that.
You're fine.
And as far as I can tell, like I said, I ain't seeing nothing moving. I ain't seeing no accounts dropping off. I don't got no things in my inbox like saying that.
So 1 second, when you say you don't see any movement, when you pull up the report, it shows that nothing has been deleted. When you pull up your next round, so my statement to you is when you're saying you don't see anything, I want us to be very crystal clear. I need you to physically go and look at your report from the month before and look at the report the following month and see if there's any changes. The system can do that for you. So what I would recommend before you make a plan, because you already have the plan and told that you can write the stall letter, my suggestion would be to wait until you can pull your next round to then look to see what the system is showing you.
Okay, I'm gonna do that. I think they said I could pull mine on the 25th because I was set to write the 30th. Well, this Friday coming up, I think would be either 30 or 35 days for me.
Okay.
So yeah, so I was gonna pull everything on Friday, but being that it's like a holiday, and I get a free credit report from I'm using Smart Credit, so my free 3 bureau report is on Saturday. So I'm gonna just pull everything in, and then I guess plug it in and compare see if anything is going on like that. But
Absolutely.
So you're saying basically if something has happened on my experience and they just didn't send anything, then just go ahead and send the attack and don't worry about sending a static letter.
There we go. Because there's nothing being installed. You're just not getting a response. But the response is the change on the file. You follow what I'm saying? So for me, my goal is to see action. So if when you pull your smart credit, the numbers are the same, nothing is changing, nothing has happened, that's when I would be super concerned. If not, I would just send the next round of attacks.
All right. And my last question, because like I said, everything's working kind of good for me. I can't even complain. My last question is when I signed up to one of your affiliates, like I said, I see him on some, whatever on TikTok.
Right.
And I use his affiliate link to sign up. Now, he be posting videos now and there. But what he said is that he couldn't post too much on a certain platform because they'll, set him down. Now, I just didn't know if this is true or not. Like, let's say, I guess if you're writing your, if I print out one of my challenge letters from the attacks, does getting it notarized help it out, or getting it notarized that really doesn't, do any? It doesn't even make sense to do it.
So I can only speak from my experience. From my experience, I'm a notary, so I notarize my clients' letters personally.
That's
I have always done it. That's just something that I do because I'm a notary. However, for transparency, before I became a notary, I was sending letters and I still got results. Do I feel like to me, the only time that I am gung-ho about notarizing is when I'm dealing with a bankruptcy or something of that nature. But other than that, it's not, again, it's based on what you are willing to do. And I can be honest that I've had clients that I haven't notarized their documents before because I've been doing this for a little while. I got results without it and I got results with it. What I would say is that if you're super concerned with getting responses, you can choose to add that method. But remember, all of those are tactics. At the end of the day, my recommendation is always to track, but it's not necessary. I do notary on mine because I'm a notarer.
I got you.
Does that make sense?
I got access to one, so it's like it ain't like it's hurting me.
Yeah, so if you want to, you can, but it's not like it's gonna make your letter go to the top of the pile. You follow what I'm saying? Like that's not what it is. It's either the letter is good and the information is incorrect, or the information is what it is. You follow what I'm saying? It's either the information is what it is or it's not. Also, I want to prepare you and be very transparent. I see your hands, James. And Ari, I think we just answered your question when it comes to notarizing. You can choose to, you don't have to. But if you guys are using multiple platforms to pull your credit report from, I will tell you that I tell my clients, if they choose to keep Credit Karma, you are keeping Credit Karma for the updates and the notifications that are on there. Don't talk to me about the scores. Don't talk to me about what's on the report, because I'm only using, for me, now I only use Credit Dino for my credit monitoring. So I don't care what Smart Credit says. I don't care what Identity IQ says. I don't care what anyone else says, because the one report that I'm using, because I am disputing with the creditors as well, is Credit Dino. So when I'm looking at apples to apples, it's always going to be Credit Dino for the month of October to Credit Dino for the month of November. If you are choosing to use multiple softwares, then you are going to be auditing your information the month before on that same software. Does that make sense?
I got you. Yeah.
So you can't look at Smart Credit and then come over to Credit Dino. You get what I'm saying? Like, do apples to apples. So if you're looking at Smart Credit, because let's say you can pull your Smart Credit on the 25th, but you have Credit Dino, you don't pull it until the 30th, then you're not looking at the shifts and the pivots until that specific time frame, so that you're comparing apples to apples.
I got you. That's exactly what I do. I just use Smart Credit just to, I mean, not Smart Credit, the Credit Karma, just because, like I said, it updates quicker about certain things. But when I do my actual comparison, I'm gonna do it from the Smart Credit, because that's what I use.
Got it. No problem. No problem. I love that. I love that. The great question. Now, you might want to think about converting over to Credit Dino, only because you will be able to generate the letters. You'll be able to generate the letters to the creditors in real time. Hey, JM, real quick, can you drop the community chat, the community link, community chat, all up. Drop the community link, please, for me in the chat, so that everyone can have access to it. Fabulous. Great convo, Corey. Thank you for coming on in. And he had questions right from the gate. I love that. And then I saw that JM said that that they replied to your email with your documents. So did you have any other questions about that, or you're good?
No, I'm fine. This is Corey. I'm fine.
All right, Corey. All right, thank you. Let me see who was before James. We answered the notary question, so we're good. James, what questions do you have today, my love?
Yes, quick question. I was around playing earlier, working on mine, trying to dispute, and every time I was using Experian to pull up my credit report, and every time I tried to add it in as an HTML text, and it kept saying my credit format wasn't invalid. And I was wondering, was it because I was using Experian instead of using Credit Dino or Identity IQ?
That is correct. So the only softwares that are compatible with our software is Identity IQ, I think it's MyScore IQ, Smart Credit, and Credit Dino.
Credit Dino.
Any
Okay.
other software is not going to be able to link up. So great question.
Okay, yes, ma'am. That was my quick question. Thank you.
No, my pleasure. Britt, we done already dived into that. I love this. Y'all need to come. Okay. Britt, I think it says Windham. What questions you said? What question did you have real quick? We're gonna get started in like 5 minutes. I had an icebreaker question and all of that, y'all. I was prepared today. Your girl was ready. Britt, did you want to come off mute to ask your question?
Hello, I'm there. I thought this was some sort of onboarding or intro.
So this
the way it was presented to me.
This is an onboarding. However, some people have been here before. So as soon as I opened the room, they just jumped in with questions, but we are actually going to get started in a moment to go through the onboarding for Dispute Panda.
All right, thank you.
My pleasure. Great question. So, I always start, for everyone that's new here, I always start with, please drop a Panda in the chat if you already have the platform. So I know who already has it versus who is a newcomer and is going to need support with the Panda profile. So if you guys already have Dispute Panda, please drop a Panda in the chat so I know how many of my people are in here. I love to start off with the community. So if you are, hey, Top Flow Academy, hey, Ari, L Branch, welcome back. So the order and flow and how this works is that we go ahead and we get started normally with the icebreaker, but we kind of dove into questions as soon as we got in. I love that. And we are going to go ahead and get started with basically an overview of the platform. We are going to start with what the basic Panda offers. We are going to talk about some benefits and perks and how to do business with a zero overhead when it comes over here to Dispute Panda. And y'all hold on one second, because I have my heater on, and my heater is heating and open this space, y'all. But after we do that, we're going to load a client into the software, and we are going to generate our first round of letters. So anyone who has already generated their first round of letters, I just want you to raise your hand if you guys can. Anyone who has not, don't worry about it. If you guys are by your computer, I am so excited to know that you guys are, so we can work through the system together. Okay, so D Muslim says that you've already printed your first round of letters. Yep. Okay, cool. Love that for us. All right. So after we're done with loading the first client and doing the first round of attacks, we are actually going to go ahead and get started with Q&A. So after we go through the process, I do normally allow in between sections, we're going to dive in to allow open floor questions to be had. I always like to start off the conversation, and sometimes I forget because I'm 42, y'all. I'm a little vintage. Okay, I'm a little vintage, but I like to start off right here with our community tab. JM did drop it in the chat, and for those of you that kind of came in later that might be new to the scene, my name is Raquel May David, and I am your host. My co-host is David Sanchez, and our moderator is JM. So if you guys have a quick question in the chat, sometimes I'm not looking at the chat, so I like to be very transparent that I will answer the question. It may just be a little delay, so just hang in there with me. I promise I'll get through everything. But we are going to start from the top. All right. So we're going to start at the beginning at what Dispute Panda offers, and I personally love the fact that Dispute Panda is a pay-as-you-go service. It also gives you the ability to actually do credit repair for the free $99, okay? Which means $0 to you outside of printing off the letters and using your ink and stamps, because you know that costs, y'all. All right, let's just be clear, that costs, okay? So with the Dispute Panda, you only pay, if you are using the standard platform, you pay $17 per round of attack. So per month, for all three letters to go to Experian, Equifax, and TransUnion, all three letters, you are just paying $17 if you're purchasing it kind of one at a time. If you purchase in bulk, the pricing does go from $17 per letter down to $12. And I'm going to get into like subscriptions and all those other funky things that will help you do business really well, right? But I want to go ahead and talk about the pricing. So the standard Dispute Panda is free. The only time you're paying is for the round of attack, unless you are using Credit Dino, which we're going to dive into the perks of Credit Dino in a moment. Outside of just getting a free round of attack every 35 days, you also are able to see a host of things that you normally don't gain access to with other credit monitoring softwares, because it's integratable with Dispute Panda. Love that. So whether you have the free platform or you have the pro platform, if you are using Credit Dino, you have the wonderful ability of actually doing every single month for free for your client. The difference between the free platform and the pro platform are a few things. So number one, the pro gives you the ability to have a secured client interface, which means your client is able to text you, upload your documents, sign contracts, upload their ID, their bill. They're also able to just have great dialogue with you, and you can set up any payment plans and things of that nature. It also gives you some great reports and rewards that once we get into the software, I'll be able to show you guys. I'll be able to show you guys so you can see it as well. And right now the pro is $1 for 14 days. And then after that, you're billed $197 every single month. You also get some cool features like integratability, as I stated, reports, and you have a secured client portal, like I said, so they can email you back and forth. But other than that, the letters are still exactly the same from the pro to the free plan. The only thing is that you're turning on access to your clients to be able to talk to you and you be able to talk to them. Des, great question. Will you be able to get a recording? We have a Dispute Panda YouTube channel. So yes, all of our trainings are on YouTube, and JM or David will drop the link in a moment. Oh, look at JM. Come on, lightning. Come on, lightning. So you guys can go ahead and click on that tab for you to go ahead and gain access to anything that you may need moving forward. All right. So I saw someone say that they wanted to know about the downloadable contract. So if you go to the community and you type in contracts, it was actually added, it was added in the portal. So, but I will go ahead and ask, oh, I'm not logged in. That's why. So sorry, guys. If you, JM will go ahead and drop the contract in there so you guys can have a sample contract that you can leverage and use. Absolutely. So if you are new, you will have the ability to do that for you to gain access. And if you log into the actual community, you will have access to search that there as well. Great question. All right, so these 3 tabs here are specific to the pro, and I'm going to be able to show them once we get into the software. So what I want to focus on, and I always like to do this as soon as we get into the training, is the training module. So I am here Monday and Wednesday, right? Yeah, Monday and Wednesday. I am here 8 p.m. Central Standard Time, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time to answer and have any questions that you guys have. Go over any questions. However, if I'm not here, there is a full training rubrics that is available for you. So if you have questions like, hey, how did she get to the attack again? Or, hey, how does she import smart credit or identity IQ? You can literally watch it. Now, my trainings are only going to be covering the one-click import for Credit Dyno. So whenever you guys meet me here on Monday and Wednesday, we will only be doing the one-click import option. But if you guys are leveraging Identity IQ or Smart Credit, that option is down below as to how you're able to do that. And all of the breakdown for the tips, just in case I may have gone over a little bit too quickly or you feel like you need a little bit more information, they are located in the training tab and you can break it down for you. But this is the part that I've noticed that a lot of people within training miss, is the free attack guide. And the reason that I say this is that with Dispute Panda, our software is extremely different than other softwares. And we want to give you the clear flow on how you should attack your client's profile. So with that being said, once you come into the software and you get the software, you have the ability to download the free guide on how you should be disputing your client's profile. So whether your client has bankruptcies, repos, charge-offs, child support, late payments, right? Or just basic collections, there is a clear flow on how you are going to attack the credit bureau, as well as the third-party credit associations or agencies that hold your information as well. And it tells you on what day you should send out your letters, if it should be in single or double print side, and also when are you sending the letters to the secondary agencies versus when you're not. So there is a clear cheat code, I like to say, on how to get started while you're learning the business as you go. Okay, I've seen a lot, like I've gone to the Credit Con, and I actually just went to Card Con, and someone was using the platform and they completely missed that the guide was there. And that is something that I wanted to make sure that everyone clicks on that download option so that you are actually getting the guide directly. Kevin asks, do you use the dispute flow or the colored ones with the red attack? So for new people, previously, this was the flow of attacks that were available. These flows of attacks that were in the system, which were the previous attack guides, I have to be transparent. I still use my red and my blue attack. And what that is just a difference of effective versus efficiency. And I'm going to go through the attacks once we get into the system a little bit deeper. But I still use, for my older clients that were ordering the system, I still use my blue and red flow. The new clients that are coming on deck, because I did have a few, they are now going to be transitioning to this new flow that everyone else is using, because now I am using, when I first came on deck, I was not using Credit Dyno. Now most of my clients have switched over to Credit Dyno. So now I have creditor letters and I have letters to the credit bureau. So that's, again, one of the benefits of using Credit Dyno when you are going through the dispute process. So do not skip this part. Do not collect, do not pass go, don't go to jail. Is that what they say on Monopoly? You want to go ahead and make sure you download your guide, because it's going to tell you how you are going to dispute your client's profile while you are learning how to be a beast in these credit streets for your clients, right? Let me close that out. Okay, cool. So the next option is our contact tab. Our contact tab allows you to have conversation with our customer support 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. And you can have different types of questions. So if you have an issue with your client's profile specifically, let's say your client Deborah is having an issue, you can literally come in here, type in Deborah's name. You can say what the issue is. If you're having an issue with generating a round of attack, if you're having issues with mail, if you're having issues with credits, and then they will be able to go ahead and look at it on the back end for you. A tool that I always give out as a quick little gem for those that are starting is the Loom, LOOM.com. It is a free platform that allows you to go ahead and record a 5-minute video. So I normally use them for my clients when I'm doing update sometimes with my clients that I cannot get on the phone. I will go ahead and do a quick recording, say like, hey, here's your new numbers. And of course, I have like a calendar booking link that goes out with the email so they can book an appointment with me if they have additional questions that the video doesn't provide, right? Well, the same premise is whenever I have an issue with technology, I like to pull out my Loom. I like to go ahead and record so that they can see exactly what's going on. And that way they can make the correction as you go. Also, if you have general questions, like you want to have a press release, you want to be a part of the beta testing team, you have the ability to go ahead and send that request in so that you will have the ability to be a part of that team. And again, customer service is 7 days a week, 24 hours a day. Now, Raquel's over here on Monday, Wednesday, y'all. Okay, that's me, David, and JM, Monday, Wednesday. Well, JM in these streets, he's in the community a lot more than we are. Edwin said, can you use Dispute Panda to improve your personal credit? So yes, the reason why we definitely started the Dispute Panda platform training, like we have the live session now, is because a lot of individuals were signing up to Dispute Panda to fix their own credit or help their family, not necessarily as a business. Please understand that whether you're doing it for yourself or your family, if you're loading someone into the system, they are automatic clients. That's going to be the verbiage you're going to use in the platform. However, you can definitely go ahead and download the dispute templates, and you can go ahead and start disputing your own credit. There's nothing that says that you're not able to do so. So definitely you can leverage this as an option. And before I go into sign up, I see that there's a couple of questions in the chat. It's my pleasure, Edwin. The question that I see in the chat says, it's from Ari. It says, in the first attack, it says no color and first class. I sent mine in color and certified, doesn't matter. It does not matter if you choose to send it in color or not. And if you choose to send it certified, that is completely fine as well. That is completely fine. Can I come into this call about 20 minutes late? We'll be receiving the replay. Yes, the replay is on YouTube. So great questions. And I'll actually show you guys how you will be able to get Credit Dyno and Britt said, what is my success rate? So I have been doing this, so can you come off mute to elaborate a little bit more, because every single one of my clients are different. So I want to know, are you saying what you need in depth with the question?
Okay, yeah, because I typed that in, I'm like, going, that's not enough information for her to answer.
No worries.
Okay, so how do you, well, first question is, how would you define success? So what is, when you say I did something well, or what's your positives versus your negatives? How do you count your positives and improvements versus your negatives?
Okay, so that's a great question. So when it comes to me, my clients that I work with, my goal is not just a score. My goal is an improvement of the body of their profile. So when I'm tracking my clients, as far as letters go, I'm looking to see, has anything been removed? If they have multiple names, have we gotten it down to one? Because you want a very clean header of the credit report, right? Where the top, and as a matter of fact, I think I have a sample credit report. I'm going to try and pull it up while we're here. But you want to have a very clean report. So for me, I'm looking at every single section of the report, from the personal information to any public records, to even down to the balances that are showing on my credits, my client's credit report. And then I'm looking at the activities within the actual report, right? Are there late payments that they can validate? Has that been updated? Is my client now trending in the right direction, that they are paying on time? I don't accept anyone in my program that has been late within the last 6 months. The first thing I do is put them in my budgeting program to get them on track there first, and then go ahead and enroll them into my program, right? So for me, my conversation of credit is not just sending out this letter. It's more of, when you leave me, you know the rules of the credit game, from the credit bureau standpoint to the actual creditor standpoint, because what both parties are looking for are similar, but not necessarily the same. Does that make sense?
Yes.
So success for me is, when I'm doing my letters, have I gotten responses? Have there been deletions, removals? Sometimes I'm not getting the number, right? Their score may not be increasing, but like I have one client who's been with me for, I want to say 2 months now. Her score has not increased. It actually has fallen, but we've gotten rid of over $100,000 worth of debt that was showing up on her credit report. Right. So to me, that is success, because that's $100,000, right? That is no longer showing on her report. And now she has the knowledge of how to build credit on the back end, which is what we're going to roll into in month 4. So we're having these conversations. So tracking of what success is going to look like is going to be different based on the clients that you have working in your database. The end goal is always to get them to a 760. Let's be clear. My goal is to try and get them to the 800 club. If I get you to a 760, you're getting the same interest rate as someone with an 800, but every single client is coming to me with a specific need. So if your goal is a house, then I'm looking at what behaviors, activities, what do you need to focus on in order to qualify for that house, versus if you're coming to me looking for a car. Does that make sense, Britt?
Yes. Yes.
Okay. Did you have another question? And did I answer that for you?
Sort of.
Okay.
I think I need to understand more about the process, and I'm a process-driven kind of guy. And
Okay.
so I think I need to know what's the beginning, what's the steps, then. So there's some terms you're using that I don't understand yet. So I'm just going to mute and listen and see if I can learn.
No problem. And when we get to the Q&A section, I will take a quick break while everyone's asking, and I will try to find my sample credit report. I do have a new computer, guys, but I'll try to find my sample credit report, and then I'll go over some of the nuances when we're talking about credit on an actual live report. And you'll be able to see that too once we load a client into into Dispute Panda. And it does give you a straight process to file. But yeah, terminology, as you come back, you'll learn and grow, and we'll be here to help. So I'm so excited that you're here. But great questions. And we'll circle back just in case you have any more. Is that okay, Brent? Brit, is it Brit or it's Brit? Is that okay, Brit?
Britt. Yes, ma'am.
Okay. What would be the difference between preparing for a mortgage versus an auto loan? So the conversations are different. What needs to be on the accounts, or what conversations that I'm having with my clients are different. So if I have a person that doesn't have a car loan, but are coming to me saying that they want a car and then they want a house, like at the same time, my conversation is, how aggressively do you need the car versus you wanting this home? Because a lot of mortgage companies will prefer you to have them in first position and see that you don't have a car, because in their mindset, if you lose your job or employment, right, you're going to end up when you have money, you're going to pay the car, you're not going to pay the mortgage, right? So that's one thing that I look at. Also, remember that when you're coming up with mortgages, they are very, very heavy with debt to income ratio. So I'm looking at, what is your outstanding balances? What are your balances showing aggressively when it comes to the mortgage? Because there's very limited room for error depending on who you're going through, where with an auto loan, not necessarily. They're not really as stickler-ish, I guess is the word that I can use, when they're looking at your funding. They don't care if you have a whole bunch of people, depending on who you're getting the auto loan through. But we still have the same conversations. It's just that what I'm looking for to be more aggressive with, or what I'm educating them on, is going to be a little bit different depending on which one they're going for first. But the conversation is still basically like, make sure that when your statements are closing, you're having a low balance as possible when it's coming to mortgages, because that debt to income ratio will eat you up. And then what you're able to afford as a house value will decrease because of your debt to income ratio, right? Versus with the car, they just want to know you got money. Can you make this car payment every month, right? It's kind of a different conversation when you're looking at the two lenders. But great question. Great question. Anything else before we dive in to start the sign up process and go through this wonderful, powerful AI tool? My pleasure, Kevin. All right. So what I want to talk about when we are signing up is, if you are doing this as a business, as you can see, there's an option for you to put your business in there. If you are not, you just simply leave that option completely blank, right? So if you are looking to support your family, your friends, your neighbors, or whatever the case may be, you can simply just go ahead and come into the system and sign up. Now, I want to clarify that if you are also going to use this software for disputing your own credit report, right? You're starting with you, which I definitely recommend every single Monday and Wednesday. The email that you're signing up with here is going to be your login information into the platform. You need to have a completely different email as a client that you are generating letters for. So if I am using RaquelEvolves@gmail.com as my login information into the platform, I cannot use Raquel Evolves as the client in the software, because the systems will not allow those two, that same email to be used twice, right? It doesn't matter if it's pro or if it is standard. Jordan said, is this pro? Are you asking, is this a pro call? Is that your question, Jordan?
No, I wanted to know, is what you showing us for the business, the company name, only available in Pro?
You can put the company name on there whether you're using it standard or you're using it as Pro. When I started, I only had the standard software. I did not originally have Pro.
And I could add the logo and everything?
Yeah, it's just that it's not gonna be visible until you go for anyone else.
Right, for the
Does that make
clients.
sense? Yeah. But if you're gearing yourself up, like you know that you're going to be transitioning into a business, you can put the name, you can put the logo, and all of the things in there, so that once you upgrade, it's already there.
could I edit my how do I go into the, if I already created an account without doing all of that, can I insert it?
If you give me
Update
a
it?
second, I'll actually be showing you how, once we
Oh,
get into
all
the
right, all right.
platform, how you can see that. Absolutely. Great question.
Thank you.
My pleasure, my pleasure. All right, so we are going to go in here and we are going to get started. So still here, 2023 at gmail.com. Hopefully that's no one's Gmail, y'all. Hold on one second. Okay, and I'm not using this. I'm going to set this up as a person that's just using the profile for myself. And then once I get in the system, Jordan, I will show you where we can go and edit the business information and so on.
All right, thank you.
My pleasure, love. So the password that I'm using here, once you have created your profile, this will be the password that you are going to be using to actually log into the platform. And if you guys saw right here, the login is right next to the sign up option. So it makes it real easy for you to be able to go ahead and pivot and zip and do. All right. So once you are in the software, this is the terms and agreement. What this is saying is what you should expect from Dispute Panda versus what Dispute Panda expects you to do, how everything's going to work, and how you're able to leverage the platform. I have already read the terms and conditions. I'm personally going to scroll down and accept it. But when you guys are in the software, I want you to take the time to read it. I know that there were a lot of people that have dropped pandas that already have the platform. Thank you so much. But for those of you that don't, you want to make sure that you read anything before you go ahead and sign it. It's just telling you how to do business, what the forms mean, and how you're able to use them within the system. This verification email is for you to verify the email address that you signed up with. I am not going to validate that today. I would suggest if you guys are doing this in real time, it's not going to stop you from doing that, but make sure that you validate it before you go into the software. But this is the main dashboard that you come into for you to go ahead and do business. So normally, if you have clients in the software, it will tell you the round that's there, any missing documents that you may have. And if you are on the pro, it will list your client's birthday if their birthday is coming up, so that you're able to send a wonderful message to your client like, hey, from our company, I wanted to go ahead and just wish you guys a happy birthday and thank you for investing with our company, right? You're able to go ahead and send that information out. Also on this main screen, if you are electing to go to pro, you can click the update button and you'll be able to update and add your information in here to go into the pro feature. I saw someone else in the chat said how to get Credit Dyno. So if you have the software, you can become an affiliate by clicking this link, and you can earn funds by dropping your link. I put my link out there at the beginning of the month, the end of the month on social media, telling people like, hey, have you thought about your credit today? So this is a great way to make passive income just by having it clickable, especially if you're using social media to leverage the information. But if you're looking to sign up, you can definitely go here and click the sign up option at Credit Dyno. And I'm going to take you guys to the main screen. Hold on. CreditDyno.com. This is the main screen here. And you have the option to go ahead and sign up. So anyone who is needing to pull their report, I'm going to go ahead and dive into some of the additional perks that I didn't mention earlier with Credit Dyno versus other credit monitoring softwares. So of course, with the fact that it has the connectivity with Dispute Panda, Credit Dyno also gives you your full 7-year report on the first go round. So a lot of times what's happening is with the credit monitoring that everyone else has, they're only seeing 2 years of their report. Once you then send your disputes out, the credit bureaus are then responding to your information and then you're getting your full 7-year file. Well, once you sign up with Credit Dino, you automatically get your 7-year report, and you're able to go ahead and leverage that information in real time. You can go ahead and use your affiliate link to sign up, or you can go ahead and use the link here. JM or David will go ahead and drop that in the chat so you guys have access to it. One of the things that I love about the Credit Dino link, and you'll be able to see it more once we get into the platform, I'm gonna show you how it gives you a great tool to educate yourself on what is showing up on the report. And therefore, once you start, if you choose to get clients or if you choose to help your family, you're able to have a real holistic conversation on how credit works, and what is impacting them from one account to another account, right? So we're going to dive into that once we load our client in, so you guys will have access to see that profile. Now, there are 2 ways that you can see your clients. You can type your client's information here. You do have to have 3 characters, as you can see, in order for the client to pull in, or you can click this option here and it will list your active clients, your inactive clients, and any imports. So if your cousin Susie signs up for credit repair and then Susie's like, I'm not paying you $50 to fix my credit, you can inactivate her. Okay, make her inactive. And then when she behaves herself and she pays you your money again, just go ahead and reactivate her. Okay, if you want to add anyone new, you'd add it from the new tab, and that way you have accessibilities to go ahead and see your client's information. Any client names, status, the dates that the last round was sent out. And if you have Pro, you can have different subscriptions and memberships, and we're going to dive into that in a minute, but you'll be able to see that for each client under the client tab. The letter tab allows you to go ahead and actually see the letters that have been sent out for your client. So Dispute Panda really wanted it to give you a one and done service, to allow you to be able to not just process the letters for yourself, family, or clients, but to also mail the letters for you to save time so you don't have to worry about stuff in envelopes. I have a 6-year-old, an 18-year-old, and a 16-year-old that lives in my house. So they are stuffing, okay? And my 18-year-old is my bodyguard to the post office. So we do go to the post office twice a week. I personally am a control freak. I like to be able to touch everything. But if you're a person that is like, hey, I want to make it as automated as possible, you can go ahead and load a credit balance on here so that the letters can be generated once you download it, and then you'll be able to mail the letters out through the system. The system will do everything for you. The letters only go out Monday through Friday, and you have to do it before 12 p.m. same day for it to go out. If not, it will not go out until the next business day. You don't have to log into multiple systems. If you are using certified mail, the tracking code is linked. Once it's updated in the USPS, you literally come here and you'll see that updated information on file as well. So it gives you a one-stop shop within the database as well, so you don't have to question what's going on. If you're choosing to send it first class mail, there is no tracking. It's just like you're taking the letter to the post office yourself and having it completed, like you're just dropping it off in the mail and you go. So you can choose to let the system click and go for you, or you can be like me and use them letters that are on the printer right now that have to go out tomorrow. You can go ahead and leverage that option as well, okay? And that's whether you're pro or if you are free, you have the ability to use the mail system. You just pay for the letters to go out. The inbox is with the secured client portal where your clients can speak back and forth to you. Again, if your family is who you're working with and you choose to get pro, they're still considered your client. So you'll be able to still communicate with them through the safe portal, and you'll be able to have a customer relationship manager tool for you to be able to speak back and forth to them within this software, okay? And then the reports tab. I love the reports tab, y'all. Well, let me show y'all what the reports tab does so you can see. Hold on. So let me know if you guys can see my screen still. Can you guys see it? Yep.
Yes.
You guys can see my screen? Awesome. Thank you so much. So this reports tab under the actual, under the main page, it will give you a snapshot of your overall deletions, removals, increases, everything that's been going on with your platform since when you, of course, started disputing your client's information. So if you are the only person that's in here, the system will show you, okay, well, you have increased your score by this amount from whichever bureau. You have X amount of deletions since you've been here, and then how much dollars of debts have you been able to remove. Now, this gives you the ability to go ahead and create this awesome social media snapshot that you can go ahead and send out. Again, this is a pro feature. So if you go ahead and you switch to the pro, as you are collecting information and you are your own client, you can leverage this information to go ahead and actually get more clients to come on deck with you, right? And you'll be able to show quantifiable numbers that says, hey, this is what I have been able to successfully complete on my own. So sign up with me, y'all. Okay. So that's what the reports tab look like. You also have an option under your clients that you'll be able to see as well. That again is also a pro feature that you're able to leverage. And then the subscription tab is where you can go ahead and have different payment plans, different subscriptions. For instance, I have a done with you service, and then I have a done for you service. My done with you service, I print the letters out for them. I send the letters to them, and it's their responsibility to print and mail the letters out. I do hold a group meeting once a month that I send the Zoom invitation out to everyone. And that way, that's just something I like to do so that I know that if they're not reading the email sequence that I have going out to them, they at least get a live conversation with me where I'm sitting here dipping and doing with them in real time, and they have an hour of my time to kind of have a full conversation, right? So when it comes to subscriptions, I can have one package plan that says, hey, this is my done for you price. This is my done with you price. And this, of course, is a part of the pro feature. All right. These two tabs, of course, this is training again. So it will take you back to the training module within the software. So you don't have to feel like you are lost in the sauce, as my daughter would say. Sorry, guys. Okay, so you don't have to feel like you're lost in the sauce. And then there's also, of course, the contact tab where you are able to go ahead and get in contact with customer service 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Now, the balance tab, I love to go to, I'm going to go to the settings first, and then I'm going to jump into, once I get to the billing tab, I'll jump into the billing information so we can dive into what that is. But when you, can I use the free version if I'm just fixing my credit? You can use whatever version you like, my love. The only difference between the free and the pro outside of the secured link that you're turning on for the client is understand that with the pro, you're not getting letters generated to the creditor. So you will only be able to dispute directly through the credit bureaus only. All right. So I do want to let you know that that's a pro feature that you have access to, but you are able to use the free. And just for transparency, like I said, when the software first dropped, I did not jump on the pro. I didn't get the pro when it first launched. I was still using the free platform and I was still getting results. What do you mean, Ari? Can you jump off of mute so I can make sure I answer the question specifically for you, my love?
You just said like the extra feature that you had. I didn't understand that part from the like the difference of the pro and the free version.
Okay, so what I'm gonna do is, so I'm gonna go over it now, and then I'm gonna re-explain it when we get to the letters, so that way you can actually see it, because I think when you see it, it makes a lot of sense. But the pro version allows you to open an interface to where you can communicate with your clients as well as yourself. It also gives you the ability to dispute if you have credit dyno with the creditors along with the credit bureau. The free version only gives you the letters to the credit bureau. So for instance, if you have an error on your profile to Capital One, if you have the pro feature, the system will be generating a letter for just the credit bureau. And with the pro, it will generate a letter for Capital One directly that you will be mailing out. If you do not have the pro, you will only be getting letters for the 3 credit bureaus only. Does that make sense?
Yeah, so I just did my first round and I only went to the bureaus. It didn't go to the creditor.
Well, if
But
you don't
I have
feature,
the pro version.
so you have to select that option. So that's why I say I'm going to
Okay.
show you so you can actually see where it is, because a lot of times it's easy to miss. But I got you. I'm going to show you when we get to the letter portion. Okay.
Got it. Thank you.
My pleasure, my love. Great question. Okay, so if you are, this is the profile information that you entered into the software when you first signed up. I missed my phone number, y'all, because I was so excited. But there we go. Oh, that ain't my number. Hold on. So you can put your phone number in. If you changed any information, you can go ahead and change it on here, and then you can save the information and go. Mr. Jordan, this is the tab that you would click on, organization, to upload your company link, the
I peeped
website,
that. Yeah.
and all of the information that you would need if you are transitioning to the business, right? If you're doing this as a business, you have the ability to do that. And you can also add team members. So unlike other platforms where you have to pay to have other people on, if you're going to teach like me, my daughter knows how to dispute. She helps me generate letters every month. That's how she makes her pocket money. So she has her own login, and I'm able to tell her, go to Miss Cindy, Mr. John, right, Mrs. Snow, and generate the next round of attack for them. And she already knows where the guide is. She's able to go ahead and run everything, but she's not able to make any changes because she's not an admin. So she logs in under her own email information and login info. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that's also possible in the free version, right?
Again, this is all whether you're free or not. This information you can load. The only thing is that no one is able to see it until you go to pro. So your service agreement you can put in here, but understand it's not going to be emailed to a client or anything until you have actually upgraded to the pro for them to be able to have accessibility to it in the software itself. But you can load it in here. And if you're using this on your own, remember the reports tab that I showed you? You can still generate the reports for the client. You won't be able to do it for the overall profile, but for the client, you can still get that updated information, and you'll be able to have your logo on it that shows like S. Smith got an increase of whatever, and your logo would be on that social media share that you can.
Thank you.
My pleasure. All right. And then team member option. So team member option is available for the standard one, so not a problem. And the affiliate link as well is available to you. The only difference is that anything that you have in here, no one will really see until you upgrade to pro. Make sense?
Yeah, so we're not doing the affiliates until next year, right?
So this affiliate link is for your credit monitoring. The affiliate that you're talking about is for you to get credits for someone else to sign up for Dispute Panda. That is scheduled to be going live next year. We don't know what time yet, but yes, they're going to focus on it again next year.
All right, and I could find the link in the credit dyno by clicking on the
It's right here.
And it's
It's right here. If you look on the screen, it's right below. So on the same under organization, it's the last tab option that says referrals.
Word. All right, thank you.
My pleasure. And someone said that they wanted to know how to add a team member. Hang on, let me see if my screen will let me be great. So you can click here where it says invite a team member. And then you'd put their first name, last name, and email address. And then you just click invite and it'll send the link out to them. And then they'll be able to go ahead and create their own password.
Nah, the credit. Oh wait, I'm still on thing. The Credit Dino link for the people that I got to go to Credit Dino for that, right?
So on the main dashboard, if you click become an affiliate,
Right. Yeah. That's what I
that's how you
seen.
become an affiliate. And then your dashboard will be open for you and you'll be able to go ahead and copy your link on the dashboard.
Right. All right. Thank you.
All right. My pleasure. My pleasure. Great question. Any other question, L Branch? Nope. All righty. All right. So as it pertains to disputing, the credit bureau has 7 or 8 different addresses. So sometimes you may get the documents that come back. Great. You might get the documents that come back, or that it might be noticed that says, hey, they're not using this address anymore. A lot of times, if you guys are in the community, again, if you are in the Dispute Panda community, if there are any changes to addresses and stuff like that, we normally do share. And I have been in several Facebook groups that have said like, hey, this address isn't working. I've had to switch to this one. You can edit the addresses if that happens and move from 9701 to 9706 if that's the updated address. And now that information will actually print out on the letter for it to go out whenever it's time for you to make the next round of letters, right? Billing. All right, so the billing, of course, takes you back to the option to go ahead and increase to Dispute Panda Pro and for you to get all of the wonderful shareable forms and client portals and whatnot. But what I like to talk about is this option here. So the subscribe and save option allows you that if you're doing this for yourself and you're not using, let's say, Credit Dino, you can go ahead and sign up for a subscribe and save that every 30 days. Systemically, it will charge you $20, but you get $30 worth of credits. So that way you'll always have a little bit more in your bucket. So you have the ability to do that for $20, or you can do that for $60. Now, what I want to make sure is that once you transition from doing it for yourself to doing it for your family, you want to come back in here and change the information, because $20 or $60 may not be enough. You may have to cancel the subscription and just go to entering the standard amount. And that's when, if you put like 200 or more, your rate per round goes from 17 to down to 12, right? So I want you to go ahead and take benefits of that if you're using this option, this is still your information that needs to be here. Even if you start accepting clients, you're never putting the client's card on file. You're collecting the funds from your client, whether that client is your mom, your aunt, your uncle, whatever, and you are putting your payment information in here and having it stored so that the payments can be taken off accordingly, okay? So I want to make sure that we're safe there. The invoice tab allows you to see what invoices are outstanding, any statements that you may have, and any pro monthly billing. The activity tab allows you to see what attacks have gone out. If you have mailing, what mailing has gone out. And remember, if you're using the Credit Dino, each client has a free round of attack. So you have the ability to go ahead and click this option and see the free round that is available for each client. So I want to make sure that we're clear that if I'm on here and my husband is on here, he has to have his own Credit Dino link and I have to have my own Credit Dino link, because it's generated per person that is signed up. So it's not a family situation, because the credit information only is pulled by the account that has registered. Des asks, what is the ideal available credit for you to have if you have about 30 clients per month? So it depends on, does your client have, what was the question? I was like, ooh, Nisha's texting me. Sorry. It depends on if does your client have Credit Dino or not? That would be my question. Because if your client does not have Credit Dino, then it's $17 per person, which means that you need to have at minimum $510. Okay, because it's $17 per round. Of course, it's going to be a little bit less if you're buying it in bulk. So you'll actually only be spending about $12. But roughly, if it's $17 per round, then 17 times 30 gives you 510. All right. Corey was next, and then we're going to go to Mr. S so that I can answer his question.
How you doing?
Yeah.
All right, I just got one simple question because I heard you see something about them addresses again. Now, when I mailed out all my letters, I used the I just let y'all do it or whatever. So everything got there, but I'm noticing like when you said something about the addresses, I see that when I'm looking at this TransUnion letter, it had a different address than what you guys have, and then I'm looking at this Equifax letter, and it had a different address where they returned some correspondence to me. So when I send out my next rounds, do I continue to use the ones that's still up here because apparently they received them, or should I use the ones that they sent back these letters from?
I only change if I had an issue with it getting to them. If I did not have an issue with it getting to them, because you have to remember that they have different processing centers.
Gotcha.
So they're going to allocate it to those places. Also, when you're using Smart Credit, sometimes Smart Credit will pull in, when it comes to the accounts, which address reported it, right?
Okay.
So because of that, there is a TransUnion, I think it's 1,000 instead of 2,000. That's in the same Chester, PA. So sometimes I've gotten letters back from 1,000. However, when I send my letters out, I still only send it to 2,000, and I haven't had it. Okay.
Now great. about that credit dyno before I go, because like I said, I'm looking at my TransUnion. You said something about a 2,000. Well, it don't matter. I'm gonna do what you told me to do, but it says this one came from PO Box 085. I mean 805. So yeah, but it's Wood something PA. Now, like I said, I'm gonna I get a fresh, like I told you, I get a fresh credit report for free on the 25th from the Smart Credit. But I'm actually looking at the credit dyno right now, and then like I said, me and my significant other, I'm gonna put us both under there. I'm gonna get her a credit dyno and get me one. Okay. So let me think. How should I say this? So you saying it would be more wiser for me? Do you think? Because I know that everything don't pull exactly all the same information. They don't have to say, you know what I mean? They don't have
So before you ask that question, hang tight. Let me show you what Credit Dyno shows, and then you get to make the decision how you want to pivot. The benefit, like I said, is you're going to be able to see the full 7-year report. If you want to continue using the Smart Credit, it's completely fine. Just know you won't be able to get any creditor letters sent and generated. And see how you said that you had that issue that the credit bureau said, oh, this information was verified. How did they verify it? How do you know they verified it? There's a difference when you're able to go ahead and get that letter to the creditor as well, for them to go ahead and respond to you to have the real answer, right? Because they have to respond to you as well.
I got you.
So to tell you which one to use, I can't, but I can show you the necessity or what perk you would get by using the Credit Dyno. Does that make sense?
I'm gonna use the dyno, but I was just saying that being that I had already, was on this first path, and like I said, being that Saturday, because I got Thanksgiving is Thursday, Friday I don't know if the mail gonna be running. I don't know how they do, but I know Saturday they'll be open. So I want to go ahead and get my rounds out that Saturday morning. So you think it would be? You said it don't even really. If I just switch to the credit dyno, it'd just be better. You say I don't really got to worry about the Smart Credit.
Because you don't have to worry about. Now, what if you're talking about comparisons? Because remember, we're talking about two different things. If you're talking about comparing apples to apples, and you want to see if something did move from Experian, then your option would be on Saturday, log into Smart Credit, look at Smart Credit, and take a look to see, has anything changed from my experience? Has my balance changed? Right? Because that's a different question. So if you're looking to generate letters, if you're wanting to send letters to the creditors, then you want to leverage the Credit Dyno. If you don't want to send letters to the creditors, then you can just wait till Saturday and keep going with the flow that you were using with Smart Credit.
Got you. Thank you.
My pleasure. My pleasure. All right, Mr. S, what question did you have, my love?
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay, awesome. All right. As far as the payment goes, I saw that on the payment method. Is that for your personal credit card to add funds, or would that be used to add client credit card so that they can pay for their own mailing and stuff like that?
Repeat the question for me, my love.
Okay, so on the payment method, right there, I have my personal credit card on there to add funds because I put myself on there.
Correct.
And then I also have 2 other clients that I put on there.
Uh-huh.
Would I use that just for my personal credit card, or would I be able to put their credit card on there to charge them for the mailing?
So best practices is your credit card should be the only credit card on file for billing. So if you're using the mail and you're using the system to mail out your client's information, you can pre-see what the mail cost is going to be, and you can choose to invoice your client and say, hey, for this is what the mail is. This is why because let me back up. My pricing point includes the cost of mail, because I've been doing it a little while to kind of gauge how much I need to have in order to mail out. Again, I don't use a system. I just use my ink and my toner, right? But if you're going to be doing that and you're going to be billing your clients for the mail, you would have to send them a bill or tell them, hey, you need to send me X amount, because that's how much it's going to cost for me to mail out your round of letters this month, right? But the only payment information that should be on the platform is yours, because this platform belongs to you. You should
Gotcha.
not have any of your clients' information. So if you're wanting to charge for rounds, especially if like your clients are like your friends and family and stuff like that, if you're charging for rounds, if you're charging for the mail, you have to collect the funds, put it on the card that you have on file, and then go ahead and process the payment through that. Make sense?
Gotcha. Makes sense.
Great,
Awesome.
great. Yeah, don't put nobody else's information in here. Don't do that. Okay, thanks. How much is mail per round per client? That is going to depend on the amount of letters that go out. Great question, Kevin. And when I pull the round of attacks for the client, you'll be able to see. Depending, everyone's file is different. So if you have a person that has a bunch of charge off, a bunch of collections, a bunch of inquiries, then their profile might look different because of the fact when I say their profile, their mail might be different because of how many letters have to be generated for that client, right? So I can't tell you it's just $5 or it's $10 or it's $40. I have the sample client that I'm using today. I want to say last month it only cost like $20. I don't know what it's going to be this month, so we'll be able to see it together. D Moses, I saw that you put down your hand. I'm sorry, Dim Muslim. What question did you have, my love? I'm so sorry. Please forgive me.
Oh, no, it's okay. How you doing?
Great. How are you?
I'm doing okay. I can't complain. Well, I sent out my first attack for me and my old lady on the 16th. However, I was using Identity IQ. Now me and her have upgraded to Credit Dino. Should I resend them a text out so I can? Okay.
Nope. You just set your round out. So according to the bylaws, what the laws state is that if you send out another round of letters before you give them the 30 days to process the attack, you have to give them an extra 15 days now for that to go through. So now you're going to have to wait 45 days. So you already sent out a round of attack, wait it out until your 35 days at minimum is what I tell everyone. And then instead of going back to Identity IQ, you can come back to, you can come over to Credit Dino and use them instead. But you don't want to send letters early.
Okay, thank you so much.
My pleasure, my love, my pleasure. All right, what does it mean when you're using Dispute Panda mailing, send it to sender? I believe, if you mind going over that really quickly. So I can go over that. Give me 1 second. Again, basically it's just saying who you're selecting for it to have the return to sender. Oh, JM answered. So it says recipient to sender. Basically, you're just addressing the letter to the actual sender itself. So on the recipient and the return, both of the information will basically be the same. Did I miss anyone? I feel like I didn't. Okay. So the integration tool, as I stated at the top of the hour, is for you to integrate Zapier so you can have email information. You can connect your other platforms to this to make it easier. So if you want to make a lead magnet page, all of those things. Also, we have the referral tab. The referral tab gives you an option that if you want to tell someone else, I go to a lot of conferences like realtor conferences, dealership conferences, and since I've started working with Dispute Panda, I do tell them about the platform. There was an option before where you were earning credits in the beginning for people who did sign up for Dispute Panda under your affiliate link. that is going to go live at the beginning. It's going to go live at some point next year. They're just focusing on making sure that all of the necessities and the inquiries that the current clients are asking for is leveraged. So you guys can sign up for this option so you can earn funds to be able to get what you need in these credit streets and refer people over. Okay. So wanted to go ahead and go over that. So now that we've covered all of that, we're going to go to the client and signing up a client. Does anyone have any questions before I get started? I got one more question on the mailing process. Come on, Mr. C. What's up? What questions do you have?
As far as the mailing process goes, I think I'm kind of in the same boat. I think it was Corey spoke a little earlier. Once mailing out the first round of attack, and then I was able to look on the certified mail, and I was able to go to the link, and it says, waiting for the UPS to receive, to get to sender, or the recipient, or however that goes, get to the credit bureaus. What would be the next step, right? I know I have to wait 35 days. Would they be sending me a letter back? And would that go to my home address stated on that on the letter?
Yes.
And if once it does, I guess once I do receive a letter back, how do I know if I need to send I think we all talked about a static letter, or if they try to pull a stall, or how would I know what the next step is?
The stall letter would apply if you get no responses, no changes has happened on your profile, and you get nothing back via email or mail from the credit bureaus. That's the only time you would need to send out a stall letter. The letters that you send out, it does have in the letters your address on them. So when the credit bureau is responding to your information, they will go ahead and respond to the address that is on the letter and send it out to you.
Okay.
Yeah. And then you would go on to your next round. So if you got nothing back, and if there were no removals, no updates, no changes on your profile, that is when you would use a stall letter, because they're stalling you out. Also, a stall letter can go out if you get a letter from, which TransUnion is lovely at doing this, where they will say, hey, we want to verify that you are utilizing a third party. And they'll say stuff like, you don't have to pay someone to go ahead and dispute your credit for you. But basically, in essence, it's saying that they're not touching the profile because they can't validate that you are who you say you are, even though you included the identifiers that are necessary, right? And that's when you would respond to that particular letter with the stall.
Nice. Okay, awesome.
All right, great question.
Fire.
All right, and then Corey's question in the comment is, Dino, can I get a drop in a PDF? With Dino, I can drop in a PDF. So with Dino, you do not have to drop in anything. You don't have to go log into anywhere. You would just go into the system, and it's a one-click import, and I'll be able to show you that in a moment. So you're actually not having to log into a separate platform and click you don't have to go into another platform, update the rounds, and then come back in and load it. You would literally just go into the software, go under documentation, and then just click the one-click import, and it will update the information as long as it's after the 35 days. Yep. All right, so great questions, everyone. So this is where I would go in and load the client. Some things that I want to go ahead and point out is that I personally take first, if the person uses their middle name, I will take it, or a middle initial, I'll put it in here. If they do not, it's not necessary, again, because it's not asterisked. However, I do a lot of families. Okay, so if I have a George first, second, third, I am very much a person that will put the junior, the third, the fifth, so that when I go into the file, I know exactly which person I'm speaking with, which person I'm helping, so that I'm able to support accordingly. Okay. So again, as you can see, I'm putting in the email address, but I have to put a different email address than the one that I used when I signed up, because what I can't do is I cannot use the same email for all platforms, okay? I'm gonna put my phone number in. And then the only thing you need is the last the social security number. You do not need the whole thing, okay? When it comes to the address, I want it to be prevalent that you want to, hang on one second. You want to make sure that each line is typed out on its own section. So the street address is going to go on one line, the city and state is going to go in its own line. And the reason being is you want to make sure that it's clean and orderly, because this is the information that is going to end up on your client's letter. If anything is wrong, it's going to create an issue for you when you are moving forward. With that being said, if you have the pro version, as soon as you input all the information in here, you would just click the invite client to save client access. It will automatically send an email out to the client. And then if you have your contract and all of the things on there, it will automatically be accessible for your client to see and use. If you do not have that option, you just select save, and then the system will take you to where you can upload all of the documentation. Now, I like to go ahead and show you guys what information you are needing to go ahead and attach with the round of letters that you are sending out. So this, of course, I actually had it, but I lost it. So on the videos, we actually have this information available to you, how to add a client to Dispute Panda credit repair software. So if you have a question on what documentation you need, you actually have this information in the training portal if you're not here with me. So if you guys are by your computer and able to, please go ahead and just snap it so that you have it for your records. If not, you guys will be able to go ahead and find it in the training module as well for you to be able to see. What I like to point out is that you want the information to be consistent across the board. So if their driver's license is from Kentucky, but they now live in Mississippi, you don't want to use a driver's license. Pick something else from under the proof of identification, and then pick something under the proof of address, right? So with that being said, if you are using a utility bill, your utility bill is normally good for 90 days. So I tell people to go and ask for a new utility bills after the 90-day round so that you are in compliance and that the credit bureaus do not kick the information back. If you are not using the ID and you're using something else, make sure you're getting a supporting document with the updated address that is applicable for your client, all right? Social security card is an option if you're not using it here as a proof of ID. So I just want you to be able to leverage those pieces of information. All right, so I'm gonna leave it up for a minute to answer a couple of the questions in the chat. Should we dispute all inaccurate personal information before sending out the first round? Yes, you can choose from the static letters to go ahead and send out your personal information first, and then go ahead and send out your first round. But please understand that your personal information is in all of the letters that are generated for Dispute Panda. So every single round of attack you have has a personal, this is my only name, this is my only address, stop playing, right? That information is there. So you can choose. My rule of thumb is I do personal information day 1, day 10, and I do it again every 30 days for my clients, okay? Joseph said, so if a friend signed me up using his credits and it's under his name, how can I check my status because they paid for the premium package for me? Yes, I think I already sent out. Joseph, can you come off of mute, darling? I'm not quite sure what your question is.
Can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Hey, so I had a friend sign me up using his his attacks to sign me up over 30 days ago. Him and his wife paid the premium package for me to have all the letters, because I had like 54 letters that need to be mailed out. And I had 50, so we signed up the premium package for myself, but it's under his email. I know his name and everything. It's under his email, but I cannot check my status of what's going on with my account to find out where I go, what I do next. And so how would I gain that information? I've tried to contact him. Me and this guy ain't talking no more. This kind of part of the reason, but I know that it's been paid for, and so I don't even know what's going on because I can't check the status of my own account because it's under his email.
So I want to make sure that I'm understanding the question. Are you saying that the Dispute Panda account itself is under his email, or are you saying that the client information that was entered into the system is under his email?
It's under his email. The name is under his email. My name is under his email. Yes.
Okay, so unless he gives you access to it, because it's his email, there's no way for you to check anything. What you would have to do is create your own login information and then plug yourself in as a client and just start with round 2, since you know round 1 was already done.
Okay.
What you would do is, depending if you have the credit monitoring information, which I hope you do, you can plug in the credit monitoring information, and we're going to go through that together. If you have Credit Dyno, if you don't have Credit Dyno, then you can watch the video for you to gain access to that information.
Yeah, I don't have no credits. We used his credits, but I gained one from my understanding since he paid the premium. I mean, it's my email and everything, but it's under his name. I don't even know if that makes sense to you.
Here's what I would suggest. If it's your email, then I would suggest you send a message to info@Dispute Panda and let them know what's going on, so that the support system will be able to look in and be able to better help you. Because I'm not quite sure how I'd be able to navigate those waters if you're, so like for me, I'm the account holder, right? So when I go into the profile, it's my email that I just put with my name and everything in here. If it's his name, but your email information, my recommendation, especially since you're not speaking to the person again, is possibly just contacting support and letting them be aware of what's going on, and then just resetting your information. But customer support would be your point of contact to begin.
Okay, that's what I'll do then.
No problem. Thank you. Thank you for your question. James, did you have another question besides the question that you put in the chat?
Yes, the question was, for the proof of identification, does it have to match as the same as proof of address, even if I'm in the same city?
Say that one more time, because I want to make sure I didn't miss it.
For the proof of identification, like my driver license, does my driver license address have to match as the same as like my utility bill or cell phone bill or pay stub?
That is correct.
Okay,
because the point is to have one address on the profile. So if your ID is a different city or state from what is on your utility bill, then you want to make sure that you're only leveraging the information you want on the credit report.
I'm talking about same state and everything, but just different address in the city, same city.
Okay, so I live at 1414 Mockingbird Lane in Killeen, Texas. But my utility bill says that it's going to 1378 Rosemary Bush in Killeen, Texas. Those don't match. Follow what I'm saying? If it says 1414 over here, it needs to say 1414 over here.
Okay.
When you're sending it out.
Okay.
Okay. If not, use something else.
Okay.
If you're leveraging, so let me clarify. If you're leveraging, let's say, so like I have some people that use a mailing hub, right? But that's not on their ID, but they're using the mailing hub, and that's the address that they want on their credit report only. Then you would use whatever mail is going to the mailing hub, and you would not use your driver's license. You would move down to the Social Security card. Or you would use you follow what I'm saying, or you use a birth certificate. So don't overcomplicate it. You're just wanting to make sure that if you're sending 2 forms of ID that have your addresses on it, that both of them say the same address. It doesn't matter if it's the same city, it has to be the same street, city, state, zip, everything. Make sense?
Gotcha. Yeah.
Gotcha. Love it. Great questions, y'all. Come on in. Coming in hot. What else? Oh, okay. JM dropped all his stuff. Okay, cool. Great questions, guys. Love this. Okay, wait, let me go back to the client. And then we are going to get started with the documentation. All right. So as you guys know, I love to talk about savings. So y'all gonna get me. I'm like the little flow over here. Call me Mo over here at Dispute Panda. So I love to talk about how we can save and not waste our funds, our incomes, our paper, right? So a lot of times you'll see that clients will send all this information because they're not aware that all we need is a little address. Okay, we'll need all this information. They don't need to know your business. But you can upload the documentation that your client says, or if your client's already uploaded it, you can edit the information here and crop it according to what you need. So all I need is the client's address and then the date to prove that it's within that 90-day window because I'm using this as a proof of address. So I would hit save. And then when it comes to the driver's license, I can do the same thing. So sometimes clients will take a picture of it like hovering over instead of zoomed in. You can just go ahead and crop it down to size. The reason that you're doing this is to make it easier for you to get everything to fit on one sheet of paper. If you end up adding something in and you need to take it out, no fret. You can literally just click the remove button and then add it back. So when your client comes and gives you an updated bill, you can literally just click the X, the red X that's back here, and then input the updated information that's on file. Now, one of the features that I was talking to you guys earlier about was the Credit Dyno one-click import. So as you can see down here at the bottom, the system allows you to have the ability to do the one-click import, which means instead of logging into Identity IQ, Smart Credit, doing a refresher report, and then coming back here, you're literally just clicking Credit Monitoring, Credit Dyno. If you're renewing, all the information will already be in here, and you just click one-click import. It updates the information and it pulls in the new report, and you're good to go. So I'm going to stop sharing my screen for a minute. And I'm going to enter the credentials in the system. While I'm doing that, does anyone else have any questions or concerns for me? No questions? I can't see the chat. So if you guys do have questions, I'm sorry, you would have to come off mute in order for me to review. Alrighty, looks like we have no questions. Okay, all right, I love this for us. Okay, hang on one second. Dismiss, and then we're gonna move on to disputing. All right, so I'm going to go back to sharing my screen, guys, so you can see what's what. Let me know if you can see my screen, everyone. Yeah. Awesome sauce. Okay, cool. So thank you, JM. All right, so Dispute Panda and the Credit Dyno have a relationship where once you import the credit report, and actually with the other softwares, it does give you the ability where auto selects the errors or the issues that your client may happen to have. So it starts from the top with the inquiries. So what you would have to do is when you're coming in, you're going to look at the inquiries, and a rule of thumb is you don't want to have the inquiries. You don't want to dispute an inquiry that is attached to an open and active account. So for instance, this is one main. You can do the scroll down method if you like to see if one main shows up for your client. If not, you can do Command F or Control F, and you can type in OneMain, and it will show you how many times OneMain is showing up. In this particular case, OneMain is only showing up the 3 times, which is in the inquiry, which means it doesn't have an attached account. So I am clear to go ahead and select this option to go ahead and include it in the round of disputes that I'm trying to send out. Okay. If I don't want to do the inquiries, I can choose not to, but you can go ahead and select them if you see that they're not attached to an open and active profile. The public record forum is for any bankruptcies, liens, child supports that may be listed on file. You'll have the accessibility to do that as well. And the system will automatically check something that it knows for sure is creating a hindrance for your client's profile, number 1. And number 2, it will also go ahead and show the information based on if it's questionable, like it's creating a problem, but they don't want you to have to worry about if this is going to impact your client's profile. And I'm going to show you what that means. So I'm going to use a credit account, and I'm going to show you the benefits of what Credit Dyno does for your client. So when you click on this option here, it will go ahead and show you what the status is for your client's account for each credit bureau that it's affecting. So in this particular case, the Capital One is showing in TransUnion, Experian, but not under Equifax. The amount that it's showing for TransUnion is a $4,823 balance. And yes, I'll go over that in a second, Dre. And then Experian is showing the same information. It also shows you the open date, right? And it tells you the type of account that your client has. So understand that there are revolving accounts and there are installment accounts. So this is a credit card, so it is a revolving situation for your client, but it takes it even deeper where you can see what is the percentage of on-time payments does your client have. Now, understanding that the percentage of on-time payments roughly is 35% of your score, which roughly equates to about 192.5 points for your client. So if they're only making 68% on-time payments, they are not getting that full 192.5 points. So you're able to have a conversation with them like, hey, I saw that you fell behind in August of 2022, what took place? Hey, let me show you and let me tell you how this is affecting you as it pertains to your account and your profile, right? But then you can actually go over here to the account health option and take it in deeper and say, hey, you're using over 120% of your available credit. Understand that credit utilization is 30% of your score, which is roughly 165 points. So if you are using over your limit, it looks like you are not a good borrower, and we need to focus on this issue. So now when you're having the conversation with yourself, your family, your friends, whatever, you're able to see the key issues that are holding you back from getting the credit score that you need and you desire, right? So you're able to go ahead and have that same conversation with your client, with yourself. What's really causing the problem? Where is it impacting me the heaviest, so that you can make the necessary adjustments accordingly. Dre said, I'm sorry, do I mind going over inquiries again? What question do you have about the inquiries, my love? Can you come off of mute? So I use a Mac. So when I'm searching, instead of scrolling down, I use Command F. If you are using a non-Mac, you would use Control F. Okay, but what it does is it allows you to have this search field right here where you can go ahead and type in what you're looking for. So I'm not a scroller, like I don't do that. I just like to make a shortcut, and this is a shortcut way to see if any of these inquiries are linked to any accounts that are listed under the inquiries are also listed under open and active profiles for your client. So for instance, this particular client has one has capital one. I used one main as an option before, but they have capital one. So when I type it in, it says capital shows up these amount of times in total, and I can click through to see if they have a capital one account through their profile, so that you're able to leverage that information a little bit better. Sorry you ain't able to get off of mute, but thank you for visiting us while you're at work. I appreciate it. But basically that's some of the tools that you're able to do to leverage. So the Command F just allows you to search or find the information inside. My pleasure, my pleasure. Now, if you guys are a little bit more seasoned, I know everyone's at a different space, but if you have curated letters already, like a 1099 form that says, hey, I want to know about this canceled debt, or you have a consumer law background and you know the consumer law for late payments, the system does allow you to do factual or consumer law disputing. What you would have to do is you'd have to select the add a custom message. You're able to type in whatever message you're looking for or whatever law you're leveraging, and then you can actually save it as a template or just use template. And then instead of the rounds of attacks being pulled, instead of the traditional letters being pulled for that particular account, it will only generate the letter that you put in the custom message. So for instance, if the first round of attack that we're doing is the Punch of Fury, this particular CarMax account will not include the Punch of Fury. It will include whatever message you wrote under the custom message tab. And if you don't want it there, you would just click remove and you're good to go. All right. Once you have gone through that, the system will not allow you to go to the attack, which is grayed out, until you save the selections that you've made. So you want to hit save, and then you're able to go into the round of attacks to start attacking for your clients. So if this was my older client that was already in my system, I would use the paralyzed, depending on where they are. If I'm using the blue flow, I would select whatever round I'm on with that particular client and go ahead and select. If I'm using one of my newer clients, then I would go to whatever round I'm on, select that option. And one of the things that I love is that the system is also teaching you how to dispute with the secondary bureaus. So according to the information, it says the following attack flow is the most effective credit repair attack flow. It combines the credit bureaus, consumer reporting agency, attacks, data furnishers, creditors, and the secondary bureaus, right? Which is the consumer reporting agencies all at once. This attack flow also invokes consumer law, Metro 2 compliance, and CFPB complaints, a prerequisites to use the attack flow and get the best results possible is having the Dispute Panda Pro account and ensuring that you're using Credit Dyno credit monitoring. You need Dispute Panda Pro and the Credit Dyno monitoring so that you can send the creditor letters directly to the data furniture disputes with just a press of a button. Also, using Credit Dyno monitoring, you will be provided with a free round of attack every 35 days, as long as you're generating the flow, right? So we are going to do the first round of attack, which is what's on this letter here, is the Punch of Fury Supreme Boosted. It states that you want to go ahead and add the creditor, and you also want to go ahead and do the static rounds. Now, something about Dispute Panda that I like to let you guys know is that the static letters are free as long as you have money in your bucket. So that means you can come in here, and to the point when they were talking about personal information letters, you can send out as many personal information letters as you desire for your clients, as long as you go ahead and check the box and you have money in your bank. If you do not have money in the bank, it will not work for you, okay? But if you have a letter that you need to go to bankruptcy court, if you have a cease and desist you need to do, or that wonderful stall letter that we were talking about, you would be able to select that option, put in the date of the last letter that you utilize, and systemically you're able to go ahead and generate the letter. If you have the pro option, you can add the letters that you were sending out that particular round that were stalled, and the system will automatically go ahead and attach the stall letter with that, excuse me, with that particular round. I'm so sorry, I'm getting vintage, y'all. Okay, so you have the ability to do that. Now, when we're going with the round of attacks, however, it was saying that you needed to do the Punch of Fury, Supreme Boosted. You're going to select that option and you're going to select handwritten. The system goes through about 10 different handwritten fonts for you to leverage. If you did not select that, don't worry about it. It's not a make or break situation, okay? But you do have the ability to select handwritten font, which is what is requested on this option. So it says you're wanting to pick the first round of attack, Punch of Fury, Supreme Boosted. It is going to go to the creditor because you're going to be using the Dispute Panda Pro. I'm doing the free version so you guys are able to see in real time. You can come back and do the static letters after, and you are going to select handwritten as the option, and you're not doing a CFPB complaint, but it is going first class, which means you do not have to use certified mail at all. The letters do not have to be in color. They can be in black and white, and it is single-sided. So I would come over here, and if I had the pro, I would select the pro option and then just hit start round, and then the system will allow me to go ahead and do everything together. Corey, what's your question, my love?
Yeah, about that. All right. Like I said, I'm about to send these next rounds. I'm using a regular version, not the paid version. So I send out the rounds, I guess was the pinwheel attack. And then with the static letters, like I said, that I got for the stall, when TransUnion sent me whatever, do I have to go and do that separately?
So I'm confused. Didn't you already respond with a stall letter, or you're saying you haven't responded?
No, I didn't. I'm waiting to because like I said, I didn't when they sent me, I've been got this TransUnion letter like maybe 15 days into my attack. Okay. So I didn't do anything because Friday will be my 35th day, the 24th.
So when they told you they didn't do anything, my love, you didn't have to wait. You literally just
okay.
in there. So the only time you're waiting is when you're sending an attack that they're actually working. They already told you 15 days later that they weren't working your stuff. You follow what I'm saying? So you don't follow that 30-day guideline because they're not following it.
I got you. Okay.
Right?
Okay.
So at any point, so here's where the nuances are going to go for your particular situation. So with your particular situation, for me, if you were my client, I would only be generating and sending out this round 2 for everyone but TransUnion. So systemically, it's going to automatically generate a letter for TransUnion for me, right? Because it's not going to, I guess you can go in and you can unclick it, but I'm not going to waste a round. Like just generate the lesson, right? But what I would do is I would print out the stall letter and then reprint my original round of attacks for TransUnion specifically, attach it to the stall letters and send that out, because I'm not moving on to round 2 with TransUnion because they ain't do round 1. Okay, now you follow what I'm saying?
I got you now. I'm gonna try to repeat that one more time. Like I said, being that TransUnion and they didn't they sent me the stall letter. Now when I do the second round of attack for Equifax and Experian, it's gonna automatically print out the second round of attacks for TransUnion. So you saying don't send those, send out my first round and attach the stall letter to my first round. So, okay, now say I send that out. I get something, things start happening. I'm like, that's the only thing I'm kind of confused at. So it start happening.
So 1 second, you're not, so what I'm explaining for you to do is if you're going to go back to round 1 and you're not moving forward to round 2 with TransUnion, my flow, right? If Corey was my client, for the first thing I would have done is as soon as Corey would have alerted me that stall letter came in, that day I would have gone to the static attack, printed out the stall letter
Oh,
and put
okay.
in the actual information on
Gotcha.
when was the original date that I sent that first round of letters out.
Gotcha,
So
gotcha.
if that letter came to you on day 15, I'm going to resend out the stall letter with the first round that I did. And now they have 30 days from day 15 to send that information out, right? Now, when I go back in the system, I may say I'm still going to generate my round 2 with all of the credit bureaus attached, right? But I'm going to hold on to the TransUnion letters until I get that information back from TransUnion, and then I'm going to send off round 2 from TransUnion. You follow what I'm saying?
I got that. I follow. I'm very good at this. But say like what you're saying. Say, I send out round 2, right? I'm assuming that's gonna be on the same cycle, that 35th cycle, right? That 35-day cycle. Ain't that correct? Because I'm doing everything at one time again, but I'm just not sending round 2. You know, round two to TransUnion. I'm sending back round 1 because I waited for the static letter. I didn't know.
That's fine. So yeah, go ahead.
So I'm always gonna be around behind in TransUnion. But what if something changes on my report? And then, like, say if I go ahead and, because I'm gonna go to the credit dyno and then I generate my round 3 report, on the 35th day because it's free. So I generate the report, but between round 2 and 3, things done change.
That is correct. Because so that's why I said you have the option to print that round of letters and hold on to it until you do your next pull. Because in your particular case, what you're saying is you're running the play that you're going to go into the system and you're going to send the stall letter, but you're going to resend your round 1 letter. So for TransUnion specifically, you're redoing round 1 on day 35. For Equifax and Experian, you are doing round 2.
So
you can go ahead and under the disputing tab, you can choose to uncheck TransUnion altogether.
Got you.
And not generate a letter for them for round 2 because you know that you're not doing anything.
Doing rounds. I got you.
You follow what I'm saying?
You're essentially saying now on that third, like say if it gets to a third round with Equifax and that TransUnion is going to catch up with the third round because the updated information is, I got you. I follow. I got you. All right.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Right. So it's up to you how you flow. Now, so for me, I would, this is just me, I would pull, and again, it would be a little bit costly because in this particular case, if you decide to go round 1, round 2, round 3 with TransUnion, right? You're going to end up ended up paying for a round of attack in the middle because TransUnion is not on the same sequence. But if you're choosing, you can choose to go, I'm resending round 1. And then when they get back to me with round 2, like I'm sending out with everyone else, and it's time for me to generate my round 3 letters, then I'm just going to go ahead and generate my round 3 letters with everyone. So TransUnion, Equifax, everyone is now going to get round 3, even though TransUnion never got round 2.
I got you. I feel, yeah, I understand. Like that makes sense. I just wanted to know. Like I said, I'll catch up with round 3 with TransUnion because, like I said, by the time I pull my next update, all the updated information is going to be, whatever on my round 3. So it's just like now round 3 attacks, it's going to be doing the same thing. I see.
Exactly. Right. Where like I had another client, I had someone else who was on the call last Wednesday where he was like, I sent round 1, but I haven't sent a letter in 3 months or in 2 months. So they're different because they didn't get a response. They didn't send a letter. And now it's 3 months later. He's like, well, where do I start? I'm like, at round 1. Because you get what I'm saying? In your situation, it's kind of different because you sent out round 1. You got a response. They didn't say anything. We weren't aware like we should have sent the stall letter. That's cool. That's fine. That still would have kept you out of gauge. So you would have had to figure out once they got back to me, if you sent the stall letters, were they going to be urgent and respond back within 15 to 20 days? You get what I'm saying? Or were they going to be crazy and wait 30 full days to respond back to me? And you still would have been out of sequence with TransUnion.
And I'm glad you said that because now that makes a lot of sense. Because like I said, now once I send everything on this 35th day mark, I should be right back in sequence with with everybody.
Yeah.
I got you. I got you. I got you. All right. Like I said, yeah, that makes sense. That's so, I'm kind of, I'll follow along real good.
My pleasure. My pleasure. So if I was doing the static attack letters in this particular case, and I was going to do it with the other vendors, I would come here and just check the box. And if there was money in my bank, I would be able to go ahead and just hit start, and it would be a free process. In this particular case, there's no money on here, so ain't nothing free. But look, they ain't nothing free. But this is what it looks like when you guys first upload the report to Credit Dino. It will go ahead and say, thanks for using Credit Dino. You just earned a free round of attacks, and it puts the information down here as well where you're able to see. So that's why if you're signing up and you're loading monies on, you want to keep something in there, because the static attacks are automatically free, and you can literally send it to all of the third party bureaus, and you just hit confirm again, and it generates the letters, and you're able to.
All right. I got one last question, being that you said I got all of that down pat. Now, the one thing I need to understand again, with these static letters, like you said, sometimes things come back before, the time. So
One second, static letters do not follow the rules of the credit bureaus.
Yeah, exactly. So if, like I said, I know about the store letters. I only got that from TransUnion. I don't know what else they could possibly send, because I don't know what all them static letters contain, because I haven't looked through all of them yet, because I didn't need them. But say if they sent something back, like I said, in another, whatever, like I send out my second round of attacks and I get something back in 10 days and it requires a static letter. So you saying as soon as I get something.
So let me clarify, the static letters do not require the same information of the credit bureaus. So they don't follow the same guidelines. Normally, if you get something back from the actual static letters, it's going to be your report. Or it's going to be a documentation saying, hey, I need you to fill out a form for you to verify that you are who you say you are. And they send you the form that you have to fill out for them to go ahead and release the report to you.
Okay, so what I'm trying to say is I could use the static letters anytime and during the attack.
That is correct.
As long as they're sending me back some correspondence, that static letter pertains to the correspondence, I could just go ahead and shoot that out.
And let me be clear, they're not sending the same information. So you're going to follow the same flow that's on this blueprint, because they're not set. So think about the credit bureau is going to send you a stall letter, or the credit bureau is going to send you an answer with an updated report. Those are the only two things you're going to get from the credit bureau. Either an updated report or a stall, I ain't working with you. You follow what I'm saying? With the third party companies, they're not set their stall or their I'm not working with you is the form for you to fill out your name, address, you sign the form, you attach your ID, and you send it back. That's their stall tactic. Once you do that, and I wouldn't say it's a tactic, sometimes I've learned that like LexisNexis is very particular. Sometimes they want it on like their letterhead. Sometimes. And when that comes in, all that's doing is that once you send that document to them, then they're sending you your full report. And then you're not doing anything again until your next round of attack, because you don't need to engage with them. It's to that level of magnitude, because the letters that you're sending to the secondary bureaus is, this is my only address, this is my only name, take everything else off. When you're getting the actual reports from them, you're looking at what accounts are showing up, what inquiries are showing up with these third-party companies, so that when you send the next round of attack out with your letters, this is making it easy. We don't want you to do anything in between. We want you to touch this file once a month.
Yeah, that's what I'm doing now. Being that you said that, I got a letter from Equifax saying that they verified 2 accounts. So would I have sent out the static letter for that saying that, oh, well, how did you verify it? Or
you don't send a static letter to Equifax. The static letters go to
would I have sent out a static letter right then and there, or should I wait for the attack time, like the 35 days?
Well, remember, there's no static letters to the credit bureau. I want to make sure that I'm clear. Equifax, Experian, and TransUnion are the credit bureaus.
As the credit bureaus. All
So
right.
the only static letter that you would potentially send to them is a personal information letter, which you don't need to send out to them right now, right? So
okay.
with the answer that you got back from Equifax, because you're specifically speaking about them, the information you got back from them, they still have not finished investigating. They've given you an update on the accounts that they have finished looking at. When you get a report back from them, they're sending you your full file. So you might get 3 or 4. I think at one time I got like 7 letters back from Equifax before they were finished at that 30-day window. So you're not touching Equifax until your 35th to 40th day, period. I don't care if they send you something that says Geronimo Pratt. You're not touching it until that next pull date you're supposed to use when it comes to the 3 major credit bureaus. Does that make sense?
It does. So yeah, so I understand you. Yeah, I ain't even mean to cut you off. It's just you're fine. I'm sorry, but like I said, being that you said that, like say Friday the 24th is my 35th day. And that's the only thing that I got from Equifax saying that they verified them 2 accounts. So I'm gonna get the Dino credit on that 25th day, which is the 25th of Saturday. So you said
no, don't do anything, don't pull updates, so here's something that people don't realize. Your score is generated at the time that you're pulling it. So your number doesn't stay the same, right? Every single time you go in and you pull your numbers, that number is generated in real time. If you have done a dispute, and whether you're using Credit Dino, Smart Credit, do not pull until you're at your 35-day window because you need to give them time to finish the process. If not, you're not getting the updated information because you're not working within the window that you're legally supposed to be giving them per the law. So if you pull the information on day 25 with Credit Dino, you still don't know what's been done because you still have another 5 days that you're supposed to wait. Does that make sense?
It'll be day on the 25th of this month. It'll be day 36 though. That's what I'm saying. The 24th of this month was Friday. It'll be day 35. The 26th Saturday.
With the fact that there's a holiday, I would get, just me personally, I'm just going to tell y'all what I do. With the holiday being in tow, I personally pull my client's credit report every 40 days.
I got you. So the 29th will be the 40th day for me. Okay, so just wait till the 29th.
That's what I would do. Because we have a holiday that's already here. We already know how they're showing up. You get what I'm saying? That's how I would leverage that play.
All right, I'm good now. I got you in an answer. I'm glad you said that because I would have go ahead and pulled that on a Saturday and been kind of mad. All right, thank you.
Yeah, and I don't want you to be mad. I just want you to know, like the point is to get as much accurate information it is.
It's possible.
And we know the holiday. Like, let's just go ahead and give them that little time, child. Be with their family.
Got it. All right, I appreciate.
All right, great question. I'm not able to zoom in anymore because this is a new computer. I know what I'm doing. Let me just tell y'all the truth. But to go ahead and answer, I had someone who asked a question earlier about the mail. So it says here, if I'm doing first class and I'm doing no color and I'm doing double-sided, it's only $21.13. That's for 9 letters in total that will be going out. If I changed it to single-sided, which is what it states is required for this particular client, it's $23.71. So again, how many letters and how many pages is going to be different based on the client you have and what information is on their profile. So if your client has a bunch of repos, if they have a bunch of collections, if they have a bunch of charge-offs, if they had, like I had one client that had like 215 inquiries. Okay. So with that being said, I just want you to know that the mailing is going to shift. It is going to be different based on how many letters have to be generated for your client. So you have the option to do mail out, or you can click download. The history tab, of course, gives you the option of seeing the date that the last set of letters went out for your client, as well as what the type of letter was for the client. You also can see the credit report, the credit score, And yeah, we definitely can't judge, child. We can't judge. We're just gonna look. Okay, this is a temp file. It's a dummy file anyway. But you guys have the ability to look at that, and then the invoices and the notes. Again, this is a pro feature that you have accessibility to. Let me see. Any questions?
I do have a question, but I was gonna wait to the end until you got to the Q&A.
Oh, Chad, Q&A has started, honey. What y'all want to talk about?
I was trying to let you finish the whole presentation before I asked. Sure.
No worries. Yes, everything has been gone through it. So we have officially finished the full rounds of all of the TAC. You've loaded the clients. You've sent off the first round of attack. And Dre says, to get clarification again, my apologies. Mind going over the sender. So, okay, hold on 1 second. Let me go back to attacks. And this is the attack. So the make the recipient the sender means that the recipient is TransUnion. So for the letter for TransUnion, if you click the box, it will say that it's coming from TransUnion going to TransUnion. If it's Experian, it's going to say the letter is going from Experian to Experian. Does that make sense? That's what it is. My pleasure. Is it better to send out the letter yourself or have them notarize or just let the system mail it out? Again, as they've done tracking and there has not been a deviation one or the other. Great question. Sometimes the credit bureaus will answer and will accept letters a lot frequently because it's coming from in-house. So that's why that option is there. It was a tactic that was helpful at one time when people were doing credit repair. And that's why that option is accessible within the software for you to leverage as well. Go ahead, Des. What questions do you have? Des? I think I said
yes, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. What questions do you have?
But now, first and foremost, I definitely appreciate the detailed overview that you put in because you definitely been putting some hours in. So thank you for that. Sure.
My pleasure.
And then my question was more so I'm looking at this and I'm looking at it from multiple angles, but what originally caught my attention was I was looking for a company that I can be able to utilize when it comes to affiliate, right? So I do credit, but I do it for myself. I do it for my family. I feel like it's too many credit companies out there, and so I chose the roofing industry. But one of the benefits that I want to do to differentiate myself from the industry is to be able to provide each individual who allows me to do their roof credit repair as well on me. And so I've been looking to see. I don't know if Dispute Panda would be that, or would it be somebody like yourself that utilizes Dispute Panda to be able to I'm trying to see how I could be able to take advantage of it on my end to where they don't have to pay anything, but I can still have the system do it for me. You see what I'm saying? Or I have to find a service like yourself that would actually have to go through the process. And so that's what I was looking at.
So you're talking about outsourcing. So there is an option to outsource. But it would depend on how that would work for you. So if you're outsourcing, most outsourcers, you have to pay them to do the work. You as the person doing it yourself, you have options as to how you can pivot to help your client. So for instance, if you sign up with Credit Dyno as an affiliate, and then you give them that affiliate link and say, hey, I'm fixing your roof. And I want to help you with your credit repair. Sign up with this and you have to keep the credit monitoring on, and I will go ahead and generate the letters for you every month and you can send it out. That is an option for you to do. That costs you no overhead, right? But it does require you to log into the system and just generate the letters. So the letters every single month would be free for you by default because you're using Credit Dyno. Does that make sense?
Absolutely. And then at that point, so you said the letters will be free because I'm using Credit Dyno. So who will be responsible for the letter?
So So if you're okay, so I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm an outsourcer for some people, right? I have a fee because I gotta use my paper and my ink. You get what I'm saying? So
100%.
so
Right.
if you're wanting to do it, and unless you're going to encompass the fee of what it costs to do business, right, to send out the letters within the roofing cost, so that way technically you're paid up front, that's the only way you're going to be able to outsource it to someone else unless you're covering the tab for yourself. If you're doing a done with you service, like, hey, if you do roofing with me, I will generate the letters that you have to send to the credit bureaus every single month. I will send the letters to you, and all you have to do is print and mail. So now all you're doing is making sure they have the credit monitoring. You're coming in once a month, you're generating the letter, and you're emailing them their letter packet.
I see what you're saying, and I definitely understand the service part. That's why I was trying to figure out what you meant with Credit Dino when you said there was no letters. But you're saying we wanted to pay for letters because they would be responsible for having to mail their own letters out. That's what you're saying?
No, so Credit Dino gives you free round of attacks every single month. So see where you were here the whole time? Were you here when I generated the letters?
Yes.
Yeah. So with Credit Dino, every single month, every 35 days, you get a free round of attack. So you're not paying for a round of letters to be generated for your clients. That round is free. The only thing that you would be paying for is printing, stuffing, and mailing those letters. So if you're doing it as a free service, then what you would be telling your clients is you keep Credit Dino for every single month, right? And then I will come in and I will generate the letters and give you the letters that you need to mail to the credit bureaus every single month.
Understood. And I guess
then they're responsible for the print in the mail.
Absolutely. So from your experience though, because what you said earlier is correct. There is going to be free for them. However, I don't mind funding it because that cost is associated within the roof. So when I was doing credit, it just made more sense. I mean, on average, you make about what, $450? No, from especially if you're trying to keep a credit client for about 3 to 4 months, the lifetime value of them for some, if they're doing like $100 a month, right, for the services. And that's how I was looking at it. And so I said, okay, if I know I'm gonna make 10 times that with their roof. So if I just give them the credit, for free for them, but again, I incorporate that within my cost, I would still be coming out ahead. And that's kind of how I was looking at it. So from what you're sharing with me, how beneficial for them would it be simply to just do one round of attacks per month versus having, let's say, an individual like yourself that's actually trying to make sure that we can be able to build out, like what you were saying earlier, an actual portfolio for them. See what I'm saying?
So it would depend on what your end goal is. So you as the business owner, right? Because you're saying, I want to help them fix their credit. I know I'm going to get my money off their roof. So just like people who do real estate, right? A lot of people that do real estate will do credit for free because they gift the client back the funds that they quote unquote paid for credit repair, or they write that off on their whatever their bottom line is. So the question would be how much time you're putting in. If all you're doing is generate the letters, like for me, my done for you is you're getting education, you're getting an email sequence, you're getting the classes with me. All of those are included with the done for you service, and I'm sending the letters out for you. Gotcha. My done with you service is you have to have Credit Dino. I pull the letters for you every single month. I go ahead and send the letters to my clients in a Dropbox, which is what I use, or you could use Google Dropbox, whatever works. Gotcha. And then they go in, so they get an email that says, hey, your letter is ready to be generated. And then they're able to go in, print off the letters, and then they have to mail it out. Their responsibility is to mail it out. With the done with you service, the only thing that they get access to me is once a month they come into a Zoom room and we're talking credit, we're talking goals, we're talking what they're doing. And a lot of times I'm able to convert them from the done with you to the done for you because they don't forget to send the letter out, Chad. They don't send the letter out. So the question will be how serious the client is. What is your end goal for that client? Are you looking to make it where they're a credit beast and they understand the nuances between the credit bureau and the credit companies, as far as like the Capital Ones, the banks, the Chases, right? Are you looking to give that information, or are you just looking to help them remove the errors and inaccuracies that are on their credit report and giving them a leverage that all they have to do is print and mail, and they know that it's being handled? And that would have to determine how you're going about it. If
Absolutely.
you're outsourcing, then the question would be to have the conversation with that outsourcer as to what their pricing point is, because then you might be able to, like we said earlier, include it in the cost of the roof. So you know how much it's going to be. So like me, I have a contract that no one can't stay with me any less than 6 months. Now you can cancel at any time, but my contract says that you're supposed to be with me for 6 months at minimum.
Got you. Okay.
Does that make sense?
No, absolutely. And I definitely appreciate you, because again, I wanted to be able to hear from somebody who I know has been doing it for a while, right? So you can give me the feedback that you gave me. So I definitely appreciate it. So I guess my next question, side note, that way, everybody can get off and get their questions answered. How would I be able to reach out to you?
Oh, I will drop my booking link in the comments so you guys can have access. Let me go ahead and drop my email. You guys can shoot me over an email at support@evolvedlifenow.com, and then I'm also going to drop my booking link so you guys have access to my booking link as well. Just give me a second. I have to stop sharing screen to pull it up because I don't want to show anyone's information, but you guys can reach out to me at any time. I look forward to it. Hold on.
And I definitely appreciate the wisdom again as well.
It is my pleasure. Okay. Any other questions you got for me?
That's it. For me, that's it right now. Like I said, I definitely appreciate it. I'll make sure we have a conversation after, but I definitely appreciate your time on here for sure.
Anytime. And I will go ahead and drop my booking link in a second. All right. So the next question that I have is from Mika Berry. It says, on the Pro, can you have a separate merchant account? I have a business partner. So when you're saying, let me stop sharing my screen real quick. Mika, can you tell me what you mean by that? Because you can have a merchant service account. Are you using the same platform? Are you saying that you guys are using two different platforms? Give me the tea. No, I don't know if Mika can speak. Oh, man. Overlooking. But to answer your question, you do have the option to have a merchant service account on your profile. You absolutely have the option to do that. Let's see. Okay, great. Thank you. What if you don't press the recipient button? If you don't press the recipient button, then your client's information is what's going to populate on the letter as well as on the envelope. Great question. Okay, I have had a lot of issues where I was getting stall letters often. Have you been able to go ahead and get that resolved? I think this is Dontre. Dontre, have you been able to get your stall issues resolved? I'm not quite sure. I hope you did. If you didn't, remember that the static letters, like I said, are free 99 as long as you go ahead and you have money in your bank, you're able to generate those stall letters. So I don't want you to feel like you're stuck. But I wouldn't personally, I do not move on to the next round until they finish the first round. I don't care what y'all did. Y'all gonna pull up on me and fix it the right way. With Credit Dino, we get the Pro subscription for free. No. So the Pro is a separate entity that you have. The Credit Dino just allows you to pull your client's credit report. You have the information for a full 7 years, where the other credit monitoring sites only give you 2. And because you're using Credit Dino, you get a free round of attacks. So the round of attack is free. The pro subscription is not. You still have to pay $197 per month for the pro. Mika, when you say that you want to do separate payments, the portal for, hold on, let me log out of this. Oh, JM, I'll send you this message later. Let me log out of this one and log into this one. Okay, so the account information when you're doing pro for the billing, when you decide to go to, hang on 1 second. No, you can only have one merchant service. So if you're having multiple merchant service platforms, because the link only gives you one. The link only gives you one option for you to be able to link to the merchant service. I believe, you know what? Let me see. Hold on. Maybe I'm tripping. Let me. That's a good question. So it says connect merchant service. Yes, from what I know, there's only one merchant service connector that you have accessibility to leverage. So if you guys are trying to use separate systems, I don't believe it will allow you to use more than one. What I would suggest in that particular question is to go ahead and reach out to customer support at info at Dispute Panda. They would be able to go ahead and let you know if you can leverage multiple or not, would be the safe way that I would go about doing that. But from my understanding, you can only have one merchant service at a time. I didn't click generate creditor letter on my first round. Is that going to affect me? Also, should I use it for the second round? So if you're using the new flow, yes, you want to go ahead and select the creditor letter. The only thing that we're looking at is, remember that this is a way for you to effectively get a response. So to Mr. Corey's standpoint, right? Mr. Corey's like, no one responded, or I did not get a response from this bureau, or the credit bureau said that they validated the information. A lot of times they're using the platform called eOscar, and eOscar is an internal hub that the credit bureaus are able to use. And with them being able to use that information, what ends up happening is they will not go out and reach out to the creditors or reach out to the third-party verifiers that sent the information in. So you generating that letter for the creditors to respond puts them under alert that they need to be aware that something additional is happening. So they will update your information with the credit bureau, as well as the credit bureau, quote unquote, investigating. Because a lot of times,
Hello, Raquel. We can hear
and
you.
you're completely fine. Great question. No problem, you're fine, Miss Berry. So if you guys, so let me make sure that I understand. So you and I are working together in one pro platform as a unit, and you want to use your merchant service for your client, and she wants to use her merchant service for her client. That is a great question that I would say that you want to, JM dropped the payment link, but I would say to contact info at Dispute Panda for them to be able to go ahead and let you know whether or not you can leverage that. Okay. JM for your time. Oh, thank you, Des. Yeah. So I would say just contact customer support. That's a unique situation. I only have one merchant service, so I'm not quite sure if you're able to add multiple merchant services on one pro account. Maybe like if you max out, because sometimes I know how that you might max out on one and use another. But in your case, you're saying both of us are using this platform together. She has her clients, I have my clients, and I want to use my merchant service for my people, and she wants to use her merchant service for her people. Just send a message to the support team. They're open 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, honey, and they will be able to go ahead and answer that question best for you. Because my answer is gonna be, I don't know, like my 6-year-old, I don't know. That's what he says all the time. I don't know. Other than that, any other questions, guys? Any other questions? It's a free floor. Y'all got me for a few more minutes. Oh, it's my pleasure. It is my pleasure. So I like to go ahead and let you guys know,
Hello, David.
I don't
Hello.
know what happened. So yes, I always like to say I'm back. Sorry, guys. Thank you so much for your patience. So yeah, if you guys have any questions or concerns, you definitely can reach out to me. We're going to be back here on Wednesday. So if you have additional questions, you can definitely let me know. So do you suggest pressing the recipient button for the client? I'm going to be honest with you, my love. I don't even check that button. It's not necessary, at least not right now. The credit bureaus are not doing a lot of issues where they're not responding to my clients. So I don't leverage that. It is a tactic that you can use. Again, I would say if you're going to leverage that, just track it to see what success you've made. But again, it's not something that I have been using as of late. Great question, L Branch. Anything else? Anyone's? Nope. All right. Well, again, I'm gonna be. This is what I was saying before it got disconnected. Okay, we're gonna be back here on Wednesday. If you have any questions or concerns, or you have any clients, you can definitely bring it in on Wednesday. We want to make sure that you have all the tools that you need. If you do need one-on-one coaching, I did drop my calendar in the link for you guys to have accessibility to, so you can definitely link up with me afterwards. As always, JM, thank you for being amazing. David, thank you for waiting for me, child. They didn't want me to be here. Nah, but I want to say thank you guys for everyone who has shown up. Jordan, you had some great questions. James as well. El Branch, thanks for your questions. And for everyone else that might be a little bit busy and wasn't able to get on, we do appreciate you taking your time out and just listening. Remember, you can watch the information on YouTube for replay, so you can catch up on old ones. Maybe some questions that you didn't think about today may pop up. We do have a frequently asked section, so we do like for you guys to have accessibility to that as well. David does a great job with the frequently asked questions section, and we want to make sure that you are a beast in these credit streets. So if you guys need us for anything, we'll be back on Wednesday, and we thank you for your time. Bye, y'all. That was my Paula Dean. Bye, y'all.
Bye, Jam. Bye, David.